For example, my background in languages and my ability to speak 6 to 7 languages enables me to connect to people as well on a deeper level. For example, when I have a client coming from Germany, I can understand more of what they're saying, or when they're trying to communicate something, there is that cross-cultural difference, and my knowledge of languages really helps me to connect all of that. I want to start off by sharing a story with you. So, one of the toughest decisions I ever had to make in my life was when I came to the end of my high school days, and it was time for me to choose what career path I wanted to take. Now, at that time, the only thing that existed was the option for this or that. You either became a lawyer or a linguist. You either became a doctor or an engineer. There didn't really exist this concept of the and. And as I chose my career path in university, I very quickly found that, okay, I had the luck or the ability in Australia to pick 2 degrees, but when I actually became a language teacher and I quit my degree because I saw that I was sacrificing too much of myself, I found that I felt something was missing. And I was lying to myself as more and more time went on that staying with this one thing, aka, evolving my teaching, focusing my YouTube channel just on languages, was the path for me. And it got to a point where I didn't understand how to combine any of this, but I knew I had to, and I found a way to do it. And so, where this never existed before, this led to me to doing what I'm doing today, which I like to call a multidimensional career. So today I'm going to talk to you about what a multidimensional career really is and the 3 things you need in order to successfully create and maintain one. And we're going to look at really briefly, what are actually the benefits of having a multidimensional career, some of the bodies of research that are up and coming around this field, and we're going to also talk a little bit about my own experience, and that's really the unique element of this. As I mentioned, this is something that I had no guidelines for, and if you feel the same, where you felt like you've sacrificed any of your passions for a job or a career path and it's not really working, maybe you know what I'm talking about and you feel the same thing. But first, let's actually look at what is a multidimensional career. So a multidimensional career is really defined as being one that encompasses multiple occupations or multiple roles or streams of work into one. And its key characteristics are flexibility, adaptability, and the ability to pivot between different areas of work. And so a multidimensional career is really seen as one where you're able to achieve more of a work-life balance, you're not sacrificing your passions or your interests, and you're able to really create a deeper sense of fulfillment and really a sense of purpose in your work. So that's the definition of what it is. And a multidimensional career has some amazing benefits. People who have a multidimensional career often report having a greater sense of job satisfaction, which makes sense because you're not sacrificing any part of you, so you feel more fulfilled, right? And also there's a lot more opportunity for continuous learning and growth. So I've seen this in my own career where I'm a holistic coach and I embody a lot of the elements from my law school days. All of the things that I did at law school, I'm finding translate to my ability now, for example, to be able to be really quick and precise when it comes to looking at research and picking out things that I need. My background in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, really helps me pick up on connections with people and really look at the nuances of what people are saying. My background in teaching enables me to be able to communicate information to my clients and my coachees a lot more effectively because I look at it holistically of how does this person learn? How can I actually connect with them based on their learning style? And for example, my background in languages and my ability to speak 6 to 7 languages enables me to connect to people as well on a deeper level. For example, when I have a client coming from Germany, I can understand more of what they're saying, or when they're trying to communicate something, there is that cross-cultural difference, and my knowledge of languages really helps me to connect all of that. And because I'm utilizing all of those past skills and bringing them into my role now as a holistic coach, and in developing these programs and creating videos, and there are a ton of things that I could list as well of the amount of different jobs I've done in the past. That's another story for another day. But it really means that I am growing exponentially every single day. And the depth to which I'm able to enhance my capabilities and really explore my work as a coach is phenomenal. And it just is expanded every single day. And so the other key thing, that having a multidimensional career brings is found in a growing body of research. So for example, the Harvard Business Review has found that people not only who, for example, are entrepreneurs or, have this multidimensionalism in their career of being self-employed, but also people who are employed report on having greater job satisfaction, a greater sense of purpose, and this overall well-being enhanced because their employers allow them to explore their other passions. So all in all, what the research is telling us is if you want to have fulfillment long-term and not experience burnout or anxiety or depression, a multidimensional career is a really big key to having that in your professional life and beyond. And so as we move along, to another key benefit before I forget is resilience. Building resilience in this day and age is absolutely crucial. And adaptability is being seen more and more as a key skill that we need to have. I don't think I need to say this in a lot of depth, but we have seen what's been happening as AI and different AI functions have been released. A lot of people are losing jobs. A lot of the job market is just transforming itself. And so by having a multidimensional career, you actually ensure that your skills are going to be needed in the workforce. The more human you are, aka the more facets that you bring, the harder you're going to be replaced by an AI. Or as you embody those capabilities and are able to adapt to the environment because you've had to adapt in your other previous roles, then you're going to be able to just succeed more in your career. Now, what are some of the obstacles that we can face when it comes to having a multidimensional career? Now, I'm not going to go into these in a lot of detail because I've actually already created a ton of content on this, which you can see here. But to really name them briefly, number one, fear of failure. This is a big one that comes up for people because there's no path for this, right? And so where there is no guidance, you're going to make a lot of you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So fear of failure often comes up. Another one is fear of change. Now, this is something I personally went through, so I know this for myself. Where there is no path that has been set for you, no template to follow, or when you've actually been in a field like I was in the language industry for up to a decade, that change into something new feels really scary, and it feels like you're giving up your whole identity. And which also comes to the next part, or the next obstacle, which often comes up, fear of judgment. Now, I created a piece of content which you can go check out here about the feelings of shame that come up, where I actually shared a story of somebody in my own industry who shamed me for bringing in my own unique talents and expanding in my career beyond just being a language teacher or a language coach to creating my own way of teaching and involving a holistic perspective. So you can check that out up here, but fear of judgment is something that we inevitably also need to prepare for. And moving on, one of the biggest things that you're watching this for and you want to know is what are actually the 3 key ingredients for having a multi-dimensional career, and what do you need to embody to do that? And I'd love to hear your thoughts, by the way, as you come along. How has your experience been? What do you think about, for example, the things I just mentioned? I'd love to hear your thoughts below, if this has happened to you, or if you're experiencing this right now as well. Now, the number one thing that we need to embody is self-awareness. Now, when you have a multidimensional career, you have to have this ability to really be aware of yourself and who you are. People who are a really understanding of what their ambitions are, what their abilities are going to reach a greater amount of success. Now, James Clear in his book Atomic Habits really outlines this brilliantly, where if you have these ambitions, right, and you also understand what your skill set is and you can align them, you are going to be far more successful than someone who doesn't have that awareness of themselves. And this also goes a little bit deeper to understanding what your values are. Now, values, there's a reason why this is the fundamental key in every single coaching session I have with my clients and any program you enter with me. Because your values are what determine your decisions and your choices in life. So you're either making decisions based on values that you took on from other people and you're essentially living an inauthentic life, or you have really taken the time to explore who you are, understood your values, and are able to make decisions that align with that. So the key here is alignment. The more you know yourself, the more you are also going to be able to live a life of fulfillment, because you're essentially going by your own rules. And the next thing is resilience. So I can't highlight enough how important resilience is, especially in the world that we are heading into. Now, number one thing, in your career, you're going to experience setbacks. That's just a given. But it's about being able to take those setbacks with a little bit more of lightheartedness. And when you're able to, for example, understand and really go in deep with your level of self-awareness and align that with having this ability to be resilient, then you're going to be able to face setbacks a lot easier. You're going to be able to also learn from your mistakes. And when it comes to moving and going into your own career path that is one of your own definition, chances are, and actually not chances are, but it's really a guarantee, that you're going to make a lot of mistakes. I can't tell you how many mistakes I have made in my career, how many times I changed my title or tried out things and then realized this doesn't fit here. It's a part of it. But you need to be able to see mistakes as learning opportunities. That redefinition is one of the key things for you to succeed in earning in on all your passions and having this multidimensional career. And the next thing is positivity. It's going to be challenging. It is not easy, and I would be lying if I told you that it was all a piece of cake. Just because you're following your passions and you're doing multiple things and employing multiple skill sets in your work doesn't mean it's all a piece of cake. And so you want to ensure that you cultivate a growth mindset, that you cultivate a mindset that is positive, and that you also surround yourself with positive people and people who are going to lift you up and enhance your career and make it a lot easier for you to follow this path and have that kind of work-life balance. And so finally, when you have mastered or really gained a greater sense of self-awareness, you've built up your resilience levels, all of that is going to lead you to actually be able to tap into a greater amount of creativity. Now, creativity is essential in this role or in this career if you want to be creating one of your own design, because you're going to need to think outside of the box. You're going to need to look for solutions and get creative of how you're going to employ these skills. I know for myself, for example, the amount of different tasks I do in a day, or when I'm creating my programs, these are things that have never existed before. So I need to be able to tap into my own creativity and not be afraid to take it outside of anything that's really existed before, to explore that. And you need to also be able to be open to new experiences. Now, when you're opening yourself up to these experiences, you have so much to learn, so much to learn. So don't let yourself be held back, and take it with a sense of courage, knowing that there actually is nothing that exists that is wrong or is a mistake, but it's always there for your benefit. And finally, the thing about tapping into your creativity as well, as a key ingredient for this, is your ability and willingness to take risks. It grows exponentially, and it's something that is absolutely necessary for this. So for me, for example, when I made the decision that I wasn't just going to be a language teacher. I needed to involve my background and my abilities in personal development, in psychology, in NLP, all of my interests that I wanted to combine that were naturally just calling to me in my work. It was really scary. And there was a lot of risk involved, because my whole income, my family's income, was dependent on everything I had built in that industry. And I knew that if I was going to pursue this, then my brand deals, my current clients in that stage, and everything that was giving me that income was going to fall away. But I knew that this ambition that I had, these dreams that I have to create something that never existed, and to truly follow that calling that was just getting louder and louder, I needed to take that risk. I needed to level up my skills. And so 2 years on from that, I can say that even though at the beginning the cost to benefit was not at all equal, now the benefits far outweigh the cost that I had to take. So there are going to be risks that you need to take, but you have to consider, is it worth it? How is my satisfaction in life at the moment? If I'm not feeling fulfilled, if I'm not feeling that sense of purpose, then maybe that risk really is worth it. And so if you've been considering how can I actually step into this multidimensional career? Is this for me? Then I hope that this has helped you to understand some of the 3 key things that you really need to consider and need to know and have and embody to be able to successfully lead this. So self-awareness, resilience, and creativity are your 3 key ingredients. And if you want to find out more about this, then there's a book, One Person, Multiple Careers, that I highly recommend. Can share the resource with you as well below. That helps you to explore this a little bit deeper. It's also sometimes called a slash career, and reading this book really gave me a lot of understanding and insight about myself and who I am and why I never fit into this one lane or this one box. And it's actually given me personally a lot more courage and confidence to keep going and keep exploring. Because if you felt like you haven't fit in and that there hasn't been a template that exists for you, it may be because you are here to create it. And it's really important to understand that the totality of you as a human being is multidimensional. And we've been educated and conditioned out of embracing our multifaceted nature. Think about in history, if you go and look back, there have been multiple figures who were successful in doing a range of different things. Leonardo da Vinci, he was a scientist, an inventor, an artist, a painter, an engineer, and so many more things. I went to his museum in Rome, and there were 30 other careers that he had done. Same with Benjamin Franklin, Maya Angelou, who was an artist, a dancer, a writer, a singer, Marie Forleo, more contemporary, who is a dancer and a businesswoman and an entrepreneur. So it's possible. And none of us are only singularly faceted. There's not just anybody who says, I only like law, or I only like to read this type of book or that. And if you do feel like you fall into that category, I beg you to ask the question, is it because I chose this, or this was the only option that was presented to me in my life? And more importantly, we've seen already the consequences and the drastic changes that AI is introducing into our world, into our society. And AI, there is no way that you can outdo it in knowing about a particular field. But yes, we can work with it. What's even more important is we need to not lose our humanity. We need to not forget who we are as humans, which is a multifaceted being. And the more that you're able to embody that, the more human that you are, the more chances you are opening yourself up to being successful in the world that we are entering into. So remember, be kind, be you, be blessed. Okay, enough talk, it is time for action. If you want to experience the full strength of this training and really implement everything that we've talked about into your life, then I have actually developed a whole range of practical tools for you, and it all starts in my free community, the Wellbeing and Business Collective. In there, I'm going to have a link to the blog about the future of work that is going to go even deeper in how a multidimensional career is actually going to help you to have a more successful work life and how you can make that happen for yourself. In the community, we also have a challenge in there that is going to help you to implement everything and make sure that you actually achieve the goals that you're setting for yourself, which also comes with a worksheet, a checklist, and so much more. And really, if anything, the accountability in there is worth joining in, because you're actually more likely, 300% more likely, to achieve your goals if you have the support of a community. So what are you waiting for? Check out the link below and join the Wellbeing and Business Collective.